Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling someone truly fascinating, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Quite a figure.
Absolutely. And, you reached out, our listener, wanting to understand what really drives exceptional achievement, that kind of resilience against anything, really.
And Ronaldo's name just pops right up when you think about that.
Exactly. So we've really gone deep for this one. We've looked at autobiography, excerpts, interviews, stats.
Verified stats, yeah.
Yeah.
Sports journalism too, social media, documentaries, the whole picture, or as close as we can get.
Right. And our mission here is really to pull out those key threads from his story. The highs, the lows.
The struggles, the triumphs.
And those moments of inspiration. Hopefully something that resonates with, your own interest in understanding what makes high achievers tick.
It's a huge story. Where do we even start?
Let's go right back to the beginning. Madeira.
Okay, yeah. So, Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro, born February 5th, 1985. Funchal, Madeira, an island.
And understanding where he came from seems pretty crucial.
It really is. He was the youngest of 4 kids. His mom was a cook, his dad a gardener, and also a part-time kit man at a local club.
So not a privileged background by any means.
Far from it. Grew up in Santo Antonio, a working class area. Money was tight. Real hardship.
You mentioned their home.
Yeah, modest place.
Yeah.
Apparently had a tin roof. Poverty was a real factor. And his father struggled with alcoholism, which put a lot of pressure on his mother, who worked incredibly hard just to keep things going. Real resilience there.
It's amazing how those early years shape you. Even his name, right? There's a story there.
Yeah, named after Ronald Reagan.
The U.S. president.
Yeah, his father apparently admired him. Small detail, but maybe hints at something. Bigger aspirations, perhaps?
Maybe. But his world then was mostly football.
Oh, completely. From age 3, they say. Playing in the streets with makeshift balls, socks rolled up, whatever they could find.
That classic image.
And those rough streets, in a way, were his first training ground. Not fancy academies, just pure passion and, learning the hard way.
So that raw talent, playing on the streets, when did it start becoming more, official?
Around age 8, he joined Andorinha. That's the local club where his dad worked as the kit man.
Ah, okay.
And even then, people saw flashes. The speed, the dribbling, he could score goals.
But it wasn't instant stardom.
No, not at all. He was small, quite skinny. So there was skepticism. Kids bullied him sometimes. Even some coaches apparently wondered if he was physically cut out for it.
So dealing with poverty, his dad's issues, and now doubts about his ability, even as a kid.
Yeah, a lot to handle. But he had this determination. By 10, he moved to National, a bigger club in Madeira.
Okay, starting to get noticed more.
Definitely. Scouts were paying attention. And then the big one, age 12, a trial with Sporting CP.
In Lisbon.
On the mainland, that's a huge debate for a 12-year-old. Leaving home.
Massive, really difficult decision. Leaving his family, the island. His mom's support was vital, but it was his own ambition, too, that fire.
Must have been tough, arriving in Lisbon. Absolutely. The Sporting Youth Academy. It was a whole new world. Big city, different life. He was incredibly homesick.
And I read he got teased.
Yeah, for his Madeiran accent. The other kids picked on him. Made him feel even more isolated. It really tested him.
So those challenges, you think they actually hardened him, fueled him?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like he channeled all that frustration, that loneliness into his training. He got this reputation even then for working incredibly hard.
Like obsessive.
Almost. Staying late, practicing free kicks, dribbling long after everyone else had gone home.
Yeah.
That period really forged the discipline, the drive we see later.
And then, just as things seemed on track, a major health scare.
Yeah, right, at 15. Diagnosed with a racing heart condition, tachycardia.
Wow. That sounds potentially career-ending for an athlete.
It absolutely was.
Yeah.
A huge shock. Puts everything on hold, doesn't it? All that work suddenly in jeopardy.
God, you can only imagine what was going through his head.
Yeah.
15 years old.
Exactly. He needed surgery, laser surgery, to fix the heart pathway, which, has its own risks.
But he recovered quickly.
Remarkably quickly. He was back training, back playing very soon after. And that response, that comeback,
Yeah,
it just shows incredible mental strength.
definitely. A real early sign of that resilience we talked about.
It really is. A defining characteristic, you could say, that we see again and again throughout his career. What do you make of bouncing back like that, so young?
It's incredible. To face that, then make your senior debut just a couple of years later, speaks volumes about his inner drive.
Totally agree. He debuted for Sporting's first team in 2002. He was 17.
And then came that match.
Yes. The friendly against Manchester United in 2003. Sporting opened their new stadium.
And he just tore it up, didn't he?
He was electric.
Yeah.
Fearless, skillful, attacking. Sir Alex Ferguson was watching. And apparently the United players themselves were telling Ferguson on the plane home, you've got to sign this kid.
Ah, really?
Wow.
So that one game just changed everything.
Pretty much overnight. Weeks later, signed for Manchester United. 12.24 million.
A massive fee back then, especially for a teenager.
Huge. Made him United's first ever Portuguese player. And one of the most expensive teenagers in football history at that point, from Madeira's streets to Old Trafford. Quite a leap.
But landing at a giant club like United, expectations must have been immense. He wasn't the finished article yet, was he?
No, definitely not. His time there, 2003 to 2009, was all about transformation. Initially, yeah, he was exciting, but maybe a bit raw, flashy.
Criticized sometimes for being selfish, maybe showboating.
There was some of that talk, yeah, and diving accusations too. But behind the scenes, he was working relentlessly. Sir Alex Ferguson was key, guiding him. He bulked up physically, improved his decision-making, his tactical awareness.
And the goals started flowing.
Oh, yeah. He turned from a tricky winger into this incredible goal-scoring machine.
And the team success followed. Premier League titles.
3 of them. 2007, 2008, 2009, and the big one, the Champions League in 2008.
Plus his first Ballon d'Or that same year. Best player in the world.
Exactly. But even then, the pressure didn't stop. Intense media focus, constant scrutiny, criticism.
Yeah.
There were rumors of clashes sometimes.
That he kept delivering.
Time and again. His work ethic, his sheer talent. It just sort of silenced the noise.
Yeah.
What does that tell you? That even at that peak, he's still under fire.
That you constantly have to prove yourself at that level, and that mental strength is just as important as the skill. Which leads us to Real Madrid. Another level again, a world record fee.
Unbelievable move. 2009, 80 million.
Yeah.
A staggering amount back then. And his time in Spain, wow, just statistically dominant.
The numbers are just mind-boggling.
Aren't they? 450 goals in 438 games over 9 years. Just think about that consistency.
It's almost unreal maintaining that at a club like Real Madrid with that pressure cooker environment.
It's extraordinary. And the trophies kept coming. 4 more Champions Leagues.
2014, 16, 17, 18. Incredible run.
And 4 more Ballon d'Or during that time too. 2013, 14, 16, 17. Just cementing his place at the very, very top.
And that era was defined by the Messi rivalry too, wasn't it?
Intensely. Constant comparisons. El Clasico battles. Pushing each other, arguably, to even greater heights. That must have required incredible mental focus, that constant push. How do you think that rivalry shaped him?
I think it had to be a huge motivator. Knowing there's someone else operating at that same insane level, it probably drove both of them. Fascinating for us watching, anyway.
Absolutely. Then, after conquering Spain, he decides he needs a new challenge. Italy.
Juventus, 2018.
Yep, 2018 to 2021. Won 2 Serie A titles there, still scoring goals, still performing.
Then the return to Manchester United, which felt surprising, a bit nostalgic.
It did in 2021. But that second spell didn't quite work out as planned, did it? More friction, seemed quite tense towards the end.
Yeah, it ended quite abruptly, leading to the move to Saudi Arabia, Al-Nassr.
In 2023. And some people maybe thought, okay, this is him winding down, stepping away from the top leagues.
But he's still banging in goals, breaking records over there.
He absolutely is. He crossed the 900 career goal mark recently, which is just staggering. The all-time top scorer in men's football. Still driven, even now.
But we can't forget his international career, Portugal.
No way. Huge part of his legacy. Captaining them to win Euro 2016, their first major trophy.
Massive moment for him and the country.
And then the UEFA Nations League in 2019 as well. He's a national hero, no question.
Yeah.
What does it say about him? Still chasing records, still performing at his age.
It just shows this incredible internal drive, doesn't it? This refusal to just fade away. We see the incredible career, the stats, the trophies. But it's important to remember the person behind it all, the human side. There have been really tough times, too.
Absolutely. Life off the pitch hasn't always been straightforward. Losing his father back in 2005, that hit him hard.
Especially as his dad didn't get to see the peak of his success.
Exactly. He's spoken about that pain. And then much more recently, in 2022, the tragic loss of his newborn son with his partner, Georgina Rodriguez.
Devastating. And they shared that publicly.
They did. Sharing that kind of vulnerability. It was powerful. A reminder that even global superstars face immense personal grief.
Really puts things in perspective, doesn't it?
It does. And through all of it, his family seems to be his rock. his mom, siblings, his kids. He has 5 children now.
And seems very dedicated as a father.
Yeah, very much so. Seems determined to provide that stability. And then there's the philanthropy side, too. Often done quietly.
Donating to hospitals, disaster relief.
Millions over the years.
Yeah.
Children's charities. There was that specific instance where he auctioned his 2013 Ballon d'Or replica.
Right, for a children's charity focused on Gaza, wasn't it?
Yes, raised a significant amount. It shows another dimension, doesn't it? What do those actions suggest to you?
It suggests someone aware of their platform, wanting to make a difference beyond just football. So we see the talent, obviously, but it feels like this relentless drive, this almost unbreakable self-belief is just as crucial.
Oh, completely fundamental. The work ethic is legendary. It wasn't just about being good. It was always about being the best.
Like he visualized it from young.
Apparently so. Stories of him writing, "I will be the best," in notebooks as a kid. And the discipline. It's extreme. Diet, training, sleep, mental prep, everything geared towards peak performance.
That famous quote of his.
Talent is not enough. You have to work hard to be the best.
That sums it up, really. It's that mindset that helped him push past physical doubts, silence critics, navigate the personal tragedies. How do you even cultivate that level of belief?
It feels like it has to be a mix of innate confidence and then reinforcing it by seeing the results of the hard work again and again. But of course, a career this long, this high profile, it's not without controversy either. We need to touch on that for a full picture.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to acknowledge the complexities. There was the 2009 sexual assault allegation in the U.S. An out-of-court settlement was reached.
And it resurfaced later in 2018.
It did. Authorities investigated again, but ultimately, no criminal charges were filed, citing insufficient evidence. He's always strongly denied the allegations, but it definitely impacted his public image.
Understandably. And his competitive nature, while driving his success, has sometimes led to friction. Clashes with coaches, teammates, moments of frustration spilling over.
And he can be outspoken, like the criticism of Manchester United in 2022.
Right. That interview caused a huge stir. Polarizing opinions. It just highlights the complexities of being such a massive public figure, constantly under the microscope. How do you think people in that position even cope with that level of scrutiny?
It must take incredible mental resilience and probably a very tight, trusted inner circle.
Yeah.
So looking back at this whole journey, what are the main takeaways? The core principles someone listening could maybe draw from Ronaldo's story for their own life, their own goals.
Well, if you distill it down, I think several key things stand out. First, just that sheer power of believing in yourself, even when, maybe especially when things are tough and people doubt you.
That unwavering self-belief.
Exactly. Second, the work ethic. Talent gets you started, but it's the relentless effort, the dedication to improving your craft, whatever it is, that makes the difference.
Can't argue with that.
Third, resilience. Facing setbacks, challenges, seeing them not as dead ends, but as opportunities to learn and grow, and knowing when to ask for help, too.
Crucial.
Fourth, discipline and sacrifice. Making those hard choices for long-term goals, maybe skipping the easy option.
The diet, the training. Yeah.
Fifth, always learning, always adapting. You can't stand still. You have to keep evolving your skills, your knowledge. Sixth, maybe giving back. Finding meaning beyond just your own success.
The philanthropy aspect.
Yeah. And finally, that mental strength. Developing the ability to handle pressure, to visualize success, to stay focused. Which of those resonates most with you, thinking about personal growth?
For me, it's that combination of the self-belief and the relentless work. That idea that you can will yourself through sheer effort to overcome limitations, it's powerful.
It really is.
So wrapping this up, this deep dive into Cristiano Ronaldo, it's clear his story is this incredible mix. Early hardship, that unshakable self-belief, the insane dedication, resilience through personal and professional storms, and just this constant hunger to be better.
Absolutely. What really hits home is, yeah, the football achievements are legendary, record-breaking. But the journey itself feels bigger than football. It's about pushing limits, overcoming adversity, striving for greatness against the odds, both on the world stage and in private life.
Well said. And maybe a final thought for you, our listener, to take away. Think about those principles we discussed, that belief, the work ethic, the resilience, the discipline. Which one clicks most with you right now? With your own goals, your own challenge? How could you maybe lean into that specific element, consciously apply it in whatever you're pursuing? Something to explore further, perhaps.
A great point to ponder.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.